continues, they certainly would be able to salvage 3 points here and probably stay in contention for a place among the two teams that are going to go. But then at the same time, I think the Greece was not. They were not entirely by standards from what I have seen. They had very few shots at goal, but if they have an attack, they really can prove sometimes deadly, as we have seen. I think their coordination was so well that late in the half, they even had a goal, a ball behind the post, had it not been ruled for an offside. And I didn't rule them out. I think they are not done. They really put a great fight when they come to the second half.
Okay, I think what's obvious for the Greeks, the Czechs, Keba, is that they held bent on not wanting to go home in the very first round, because this is a statement which they can't afford to go home now.
Definitely, but it's rather unfortunate seeing the team today, coming to the team technically. You consider the team lose very key players. That's the central defense which you just mentioned before the start of the game. And now in football, before you score it, you need to conceal yourself at the back first, because at the end of the day, these are the goals which counted. And I think the Czechs are taking the advantage of that. You can see the goals, they came very early in the game before the team just get to know what to do. And that has paid dividend. Looking at tactical approach of the game with the Czechs, they've put it on 4-2-3-1 system. I haven't seen any room for this Greece to come back into this game, because you can see Rizalski is fully in control of the game. He's never going beyond the center line. He always makes the daily passes and resort back to the defense. So they now concentrating much on their defensive to avoid what happened exactly against Russia, which they consider the goal through counter-attacks. I think this time around they are not going to allow that. Like seeing Rizalski, the responsibility he's taken the responsibility as a captain. He's been approached as a matured somebody in the field. Yeah.
For you, probably, what might have been the difference, with the Czech that played the Russians on the first day of the tournament, and the Czech side taking on the Greeks right now, even though we have a number of key players missing. And this probably, at the back of what happened to them, probably Fernando Santos for Greece thought that the Czech Republic could be the whipping boys of the group. Has that backfired?
Yeah, of course, yes. But looking at, as you just mentioned, coming to this game, it was the Greece which sent the Czechs out of the competition in 2008, avoiding them qualifying in the last game. So in the last evening, this was saying, they are not here for revenge, but at least they have to put those memories back behind their minds and come back to know that this is the game which will push them to stay in the league, to stay in the tournament.
And the irony is that it was the Greeks who also eliminated the Czechs in 2004, stopping them from going to the semi-final. And there is this history in between these two teams, even though before the Velvet Revolution, when Slovakia and was part of the whole thing.
But I think overall, one shouldn't see Greece, Czech suffering from 4 goals against Russia, so you just match them out. Remember, the goals against Russia came at an interval, and it all was. They based their game on counter-attacks, which the Russians take advantage of, and they were always playing behind the high defense. But this time around, you can see the Czech, they rectify that. They were all playing more men behind the ball, coming with 2 holding midfield players, which counted and capitalized on the defensive weakness of the Greece, which paid dividend in the first 10 minutes. And that's it. The game, I think the game plan of the coach works. Yeah.
I think quite apart from the tactical things we were talking about, I think the difference between the Czech of the first match and the second match might have to do with the qualities of the opponents of the first match and now. You can see the Russians were, for me, they were very much more enterprising than what we are seeing from the Greek side today. Don't you think that might have caused a difference?
You might not say so, because maybe for the Russians they were full intact, the whole camp was in. But I think this central defenders missing the game might also play psychology in the Greece line setup. Because look at the goals they considered, it doesn't worth it. Especially the second goal could have been avoided. So that's a psychological move there. This is why the Czechs take the advantage of it. You can see them. Today they also dependent on counter-attacks. Whenever they go on the ball, they are fast onto the attack. Whenever they lose the ball, you can see the team retreating behind the ball. So I think this is a game for the Greeks.
It's a game for
for the Czechs.
For the Czechs. What could the Greeks do now to get back into this game?
Actually, they need to come out to attack forcefully because they need the goal. They need, maybe add on to some because they still on counter football, attacking football. That's 4-3-3. Yet still, the coach, I think, he still need to sacrifice a central midfield player for an attacking player so that he can go all out for it. He has to score a goal within the 10 minutes for him to survive the game. So
I think the Greeks must still have some steam in their final lineup. Like we said, late in the match, we saw that they have come close to scoring, and I believe they will come with a brand new strategy and a fresh approach, and probably more determination to pull this advantage back and to seek, at least to seek to equalize the score. I think there's still some hunger left in them for them to make amends.
If this game continues as it is, and you know, the Czechs happens to pick up all 3 points, that would change the entire table in some form, with Russia coming up later to play Poland, who are playing at home, at least with the home crowd behind them.
Well, that definitely is going to put a lot of pressure on Poland to
do something.
To get something out of the Russians, which is going to be difficult actually. For Russia, okay, it will alert them to the fact that somebody has just captured, you know, the same position, the privilege they enjoyed in the group, and they would like, of course, to come all out to consolidate on, you know, on what they have gained, so that they can at least keep, you know, break some space between them and the Czechs to continue leading the group, like I said. Poland should be watched today, because if this score stands as a result, definitely they are the teams that are going to be on all cylinders today to pick something out of the game.
But I think when the results stay like this, it will be easier for the Russians to go across, because it will entirely show them that collecting the point or maximum points, they are through to the semi-final. So I think this result hasn't gone well with the Polish.
That's why they will be more under pressure, and they will be at home.
Are you suggesting that when the Russians play the Greeks, it would be, you know, a formality?
Actually not be, because if Russia should win this game today, they are 6 points collect.
Yeah.
So the work should be done today, so that they can assure themselves.
It's going to be a difficult, work. A very difficult job, because even though the game kicks off later on in the evening, that's the second day of the game that's going to be played in Warsaw, of course, the capital. You have to remember what's at stake. There's a big history between these two countries, so that would come later. But for me, to suggest that the Greeks are almost done. This is a tournament that's being played on a level playing field, and the pedigree of most of these European countries in European football are all equal, if not the same.